will guide the world to the new. I'm sure you might have all heard of the word Indian, but Indianism is not that a popular word. But I'll try to explain. And I dedicate this presentation to all the religions and all the gods we worship and we respect. And the word Indianism, in the literary sense, has so many other connotations, like the study of Indian language, something pertaining to the English language spoken in India, something related to the Native American tribes in the American subcontinent. But the Indianism I am talking, or I would like to redefine Indianism in the context of India, India's culture, our heritage, our traditions, and our India in general, our motherland India. And I would like to focus on the two things. One, the nation, and then the notion of India. The nation and notion of India, and how we, Indians or Indianism, will be philosophically leading the world in the next century, or in the next millennium, or in years to come. We might have seen the statements by the German Chancellor, Angela Merkel, who said, multiculturalism has failed, multiculturalism is dead. That means she is the Chancellor, the Premier of a nation, Germany, is telling to the world openly, multiculturalism cannot exist. We people who are different, diverse, distinct, who are having various beliefs, systems of thoughts, religions, philosophies, we cannot coexist. They are coming from the head of a state. It sounds serious because multiculturalism is no more, according to our words. And many places in Europe and in the Western world, the similar sentiments are echoing across many spaces. That's the reason why there have been calls to burn holy books of different religion, a counter call to burn the holy book A, and the next counter call to burn a holy book B or C. So this is happening, saying that the other cannot exist, only we can exist. And as we see, we have always heard of a very famous terminology or phrase called the clash of civilizations, which is very popular in the present world, which I don't believe in, but still, which is very popular. The essence of the clash of civilizations, the root idea of the clash of civilization, is the idea that if you don't believe in our ism, our philosophy, or our ideology, or our religion, you will be burning in hell. Or follow only our line of thinking. Only my line of thinking is right, you are wrong. Only my belief is right, you are wrong. Only my religion, my philosophy, my ideology, my politics, my system of thinking, my faith, this is right and you are wrong. This is the root of, this is the major reason, this is the root of the clash which is in the present world, believing that only my ideology, I am right and everything else is wrong. And coming to India, you have a different thought process altogether. I have seen, I have a privilege to travel in many nations across the world, and I could see many people who believe that only I am right, only my system is right, no one else should exist, you are all going to be doomed. And when I came back to India, it was my pride, or whenever I go to outside states or nations, I always point out, there is a place called, which is in Kerala, I am proud to point out because many of you might not be from the Kerala background. There is a place called Eruveli in Kerala. I don't know how many of you have heard about a place called Eruveli. I think this is the most spectacular example of multiculturalism in the whole world. The multiculturalism angle is, there is a temple and a mosque. That's not the great thing, we have temples and mosques everywhere. Their cultures are related, their system is related, their worshipping pattern is related, and if you can focus to that, if you can focus to the temple upwards, there is a particular nada, or there is a particular shrine for a Muslim Siddha, or he is a Muslim. His name is Babar. In Malayalam we call it Babar, because B gets metamorphosed into Va. So there is a shrine for Babar, and Hindu community from time immemorial has always a belief in making idols and worshipping. They make symbols, they make images and worshipping. But in this particular Vavar Swami shrine, one of the most fascinating things is, there is no idol at all. And there is just an ark. And I asked the priest there, why is it so? He said, Islam, holy Islam believes, they say idol worship is not right. They discourage idol worship. So in order to respect an Islamic figure, we thought of, and it has been there for the past 1,000 years, we thought of making only an ark and not an idol. It is saying that it is not only saying that we will respect you, it is saying that we will respect you in the way you want us to respect you. We will respect you in the way you want us to respect you. And still in that Vavar Swami, there are crores of people go. And this is the Eruveli Mosque. And one of the greatest things about this Elimeli Ghost, many things they are not allowed to photograph or film, otherwise I would have taken the photograph. Inside the Elimeli Ghost, there is a pradikshanam, there is a circular moving by the elephant with the Ayyappa's idol, with the Hindu god's idol, and it moves around the ghost. And millions of Hindus and Muslims from different parts of India come there, and this is a place where even the Westerner many times thinks of an idea called tolerance. They speak about tolerance. Tolerance means the very word tolerance implicitly has an idea of intolerance. That's the reason we call it tolerance. Suppose there is A, B. Suppose my friend Rahul came along with me, and if I am tolerating Rahul, that means I don't like him, I am not in tune with him, but still, of course, I can suffer you, I can tolerate you. And India don't believe in the idea of tolerance. India always had an idea of acceptance. India never says, and taking these examples, we never even say we will tolerate, but we say that we will be at harmony with each other, we will imbibe each other. And since photographs cannot be taken, that's why even inside the Shabarimala temple, there is a Vavar Swami Nada, and in respect of Vavar, who came from outside and who really fought for this land, fought for the Pandalam and the Erimeli Desham it belonged earlier, this Vavar is respected by putting a sword of Vavar, and there are Quran suttas inside the temple, and there is a particular Vavar Swami Dala where we go, the Musaliya's name is Abdul Rashid Musaliya. He will give us basmas, we can take that and go back. That too inside the temple. So a temple and most coexisting, it's a very normal thing in India because of our diverse culture, but most coexisting inside the temple only because Indians believe from time immemorial that an idea of Egam Sat Vipra Bhakta Bhakti. They believe truth is one, but the sages, the messengers, the prophets, or the Tirthankaras, the ferrymen, they explained it differently, they called it differently, they named it differently. Somebody called it water, somebody called it H2O, somebody called it Pani, somebody in Malayalam called it Vellam. They are all the same truth, but the truth is explained, expressed, elucidated, elaborated in different ways. And if you look at the world history itself, India is a place where for the past 2500 years, when the Jews, their temple was shattered by the Roman tyranny, as Vivekananda called it, when their temples were shattered by the Roman tyranny, the Jews took refuge in India, and India is one of the only nations, or rather India is the only nation where there was never an anti-Semite, an anti-Jew sentiments, or never was any attacks on Jews for the past 2500 years. And Kerala, especially Kerala in the Indian context, Kerala is proud to have, back in AD 52, one of the first Christian communities in the world, when the Holy Saint Thomas came, and Saint Thomas, the legend has it that Saint Thomas started the Kerala community, and it is 400 years older than the papacy, the Holy Roman papacy, and it is there from AD 52 itself. And take the case of Islam. Even before, they say, even before the historical Mecca, when Prophet Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was in Medina, our chairman king, the chairman Perimal as we call it, the chairman Perimal went to Makkah, because it was earlier called Makkah in Malayalam. Mecca is more of an anglicized English usage. He went to Makkah, met with Prophet Muhammad, took his blessing, took his new darshana, came back, and if you ever have a chance, and I believe you all should go to the chairman Perimal post, which is in Koduvallur. There is still a land being with them when our Honorable President Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam came, he went and offered his prayers to the Muslims. So India always had a history of welcoming. India always had an idea of accepting different religions. And you take any region in the world, you name it, India will have it. All the regions, Sikhism, Buddhism, the Dharmic religions, the Shintoism, the Taoism, everything has one or the other root in India. Because we basically believed in the idea of multiculturalism. We basically didn't even believe in the idea of tolerance. We believed in the idea of inclusion. And if somebody puts even I come from a place called Trivandrum. In Tiruvandrum, there is a mosque there, and the belief of all the people beyond religion is that if you put money in that mosque, the deity or the mosque or God will take care of your journey. And I have seen immense number of people beyond any narrow divisions of religion, as we call it, putting money there. This is the cultural milieu or the cultural atmosphere India was brought up with. That's the reason why I say Indianism. Indianism, by the word Indianism, what I mean is the whole idea that different communities can live together. The whole idea that different beliefs can coexist, imbibe one another, embrace one another, and still be in harmony. I'm very sure all of you might be familiar with this temple now, because the whole global media is going gaga over Padmanabha Swami temple, which has been there from time immemorial. But right now, yesterday we had discussions in CNN, IBN Times, all around that place. I was a part of it. We could even see people from China, CCTV in China coming there, taking snapshots. The German papers coming, the European media coming. Right now, he is tipped to be Mr. Patnaik, if I can call it with all I respect. He is tipped to be more richer than the Bill Gates, Ambani's, Carlos Slim. So the richest person now in the world, or the richest God now in the world, it says the normal value without considering the antique value is around 1 lakh crore rupees, and if considered the antique value, the money will shoot up to almost 5 lakh to 6 lakh crore rupees. With one more chamber to be opened, the more guarded one, which many people believe the accumulated wealth of all the other 4 chambers will be exceeded this year, but I don't know, only Sripatna for those. But one interesting fact of this temple many people miss. The historical records of this temple is called the Madhilagam records. Madhilagam Rekhas, as we call it in Malayalam, has been edited by our Mahakavi Ullur. And Ullur points out a very interesting fact in this. Ullur points out that almost even 2 centuries ago, even from the time of Martanda Varma, money from this temple, money from this particular temple was given to Martanda Varma's Muslim subjects for going to Hajj or for undertaking a pilgrimage to Mecca. And the money was even given to Jesuit Christian priests so that they can have their celebrations. And as you know, in the case of a temple, the most important celebration is the annual Ulsav Devataj. And at one point of time, the Jesuit Christian priests were facing a financial crisis. Martanda Varma ordered that let the elaborate celebrations be cancelled in the temple and a huge amount of money be transferred to the Jesuit priests. This is recorded in the Madhilagam Rekhas. And I showed this Madhilagam Rekhas when the foreign channels came, and they said it is a wonderful thing because it is something you cannot see anywhere in the world. Money from one particular region, say region A, is used for the people who belong to their region B or region C. Because that's the broadness of India. They believe even if you go for Om, Cross or Crescent, it all belongs to God and God belongs to all the regions. They didn't believe in the idea of monopoly of God. They believe all regions belong to God rather than God belonging to any particular idea, individual or religion. And what's the present situation of the world now? We are having around 650 crore people in the world. Even though we say we are a global village, the diversity is far, the diversity is too much. We have different religions, communities, political ideologies, isms, languages, tradition, culture. And India is an ideal place where we can say and show it is not only a clash of civilization, it is not tolerance of different cultures, it is the imbibing and it's the embracing of different cultures. Because they have this basic idea, everyone can coexist. And I am proud to say that whenever you see intolerance in the outside world, especially Europe, to some communities or racism happening in many different places, India is the last man standing to defend the idea that everyone can coexist even though having so many differences. And that will be the idea that will be guiding the world. Because we can be very sure there will never be any time in the world where the world will only have one religion. There will never be a time in the world when we can be sure that there will be only one language, one culture, one interpretation of any holy book, one particular system, one faith. So that diversity, India is going to rule. And in the past 5,000 years of world history, if you check the world history, almost for the past 3,500 to 3,800 years, India has given the world a spiritual guidance, a spiritual leadership. People from different nations came to study here. The whole American empire was accidentally found because somebody wanted to come to India and he accidentally could land up in an American subcontinent and they discovered it. But that doesn't mean, even though I'm saying praises about my own motherland, that doesn't mean we don't have problems. Usually about such kind of speeches is either they take a blind praising stand or they go for a totally blind negative critical stand. Either they say India is the perfect country in the world or they say who came again Hindustan se chhod do, like the many anti-nationals who can speak in Delhi. That's one of the privileges of India. You can still go to the capital of a nation and still say India can be broken into different pieces. I doubt whether it is freedom, tolerance or culture, I don't know. But we do have that freedom in our own nations. So that idea should be there, and many of you might have seen the first 3 pictures that I have shown. Many of you might not understand the correlation between the 3. We usually say, for the either for the fad or for presenting, we always put all these 3 things together. And these 3 religious institutions are correlated. And when they say correlated, they are joined together in history, they are joined together in culture. The first is the Enveli most, as I showed it. The second is the Shabrimala shrine. And the third is the Arthurian Christian church, where this Christian church's Arthurian Vedanta in Malayalam is called a Christian father. He was something like a senior elder brother to Swami Ayyappa or Manikanta. We can take the God out of it. We will find the man out of the God. Usually in India we make the God out of man. We will try to make the man out of God. So in the case of Mr. Manikanta, this person from Arthakal Palli Meditation was like a senior elder brother figure, and the person who fought along with him was Babur. They had a clash with the Maravapada who were coming to invade their country, and they could resist together. And this is the beauty of India, and this is the only place in the world you can see this. So I would define Indianism as, and these are my favorite lines, I would say, मैं हिंदू हूँ, मुसलमान भी हूँ. In all the other parts, you are a Hindu, you are a Muslim, you can respect each other, that's it. That's the maximum you can demand. In India, मैं हिंदू हूँ, मुसलमान भी हूँ. Because ritualistically, I have the right to go to a mosque every year. I go, I touch the feet of the Muslim there, take bhasma from him, take blessings from him. मैं हिंदू हूँ, मुसलमान भी हूँ. Sikh, ईसाई और एक इंसान भी हूँ. And I am a Sikh, I am a Christian, or at the base of it, I am a human being. मैं एक नहीं, अनेक हूँ. That's a root of clashes in the world, because we are confined to one identity. We are confined to only one particular picturization, identity. मैं एक नहीं, अनेक हूँ. इस मिट्टी का एक कण हूँ और सारे हिंदुस्तान भी हूँ. And I think this is the idea. This is the concept with which different races, different cultures, different nationalities can coexist. And as we talk of a global order, as we talk of a global village, we need an idea for the world to exist. Many a times we call it cosmopolitanism. That cosmopolitanism is one of the ancient Indian ideas. We call it Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We call it Loka Samasta Sukho Bhavantu. Let there be no divisions. I am not praying for group A or B. I am praying for the entire world. But that doesn't absolve us from our own mistakes. That's the reason why I say, in India, almost 83 crore people live at rupees 20 a day. That's a glaring factor for poverty. And many a times, we people don't pay attention. That means if a beggar can get more than, a beggar in Kerala or India gets around 50 rupees a day. So, we have around 83 crore plus beggars in India, super poor in India. We can only become a superpower when we can take care of this 83 crore huge bulk of people. We still have issues with casteism. We still have issues with religious fundamentalism. We still have issues with so many sectarian things. But amidst all this, the idea of India survives. And I believe it is the responsibility of every activist, every Indian to contribute towards the growth of India, break the divisions, break the narrow walls like Tagore says, and unify us as Indians. And these are the foot soldiers, these poor people are the foot soldiers who the Maoists, the terrorists, the anti-national use it against our India. And I would end it by famous quotes of the person who wrote Sare Jahan Se Acha. Who was he? Allama Iqbal. He was perhaps in the earlier days like Rasul Kuputi, who could herald in an Oscar platform where he comes from the land of home. And I end with these sentences. Yunan or Misr or Roma, sab mit gaye jahan se, ab tak magar hai baki, naam aur nishan hamara. The Greeks, the Romans, the Egyptians have all perished. Still we, naam aur nishan, our identity, our name still exists. Kuch baat hai ki hasti mitti nahi hamari, sadiyon raha hai dushman daure zaman hamara. These are the concluding lines of Sare Jahan Se Acha. There are many reasons why this land is never there. There are almost 42 different civilizations that started along in the ancient times. But India still survives as a living culture, living civilization, living tradition. Because we respect each other. We believe in multiculturalism. We believe in the idea of India. Sare Jahan Se Acha, Hindustan Hamara. I hope, like the IAF says, globalizing Indian thought, India's most crucial contribution to the world in the coming century definitely will be technological, will be intellectual, will be, but the most compelling contribution India will have towards the world is the idea of multiculturalism, is the idea of India. That is the idea with which the world can move forward amidst all these differences. May Indianism survive, Loka Samasta Sukho Bhavantu.